Okay. The title of my talk this morning is I Want Some Dopamine. In 2020, at the height of the pandemic, we had an online retreat. And our motto for the retreat was a call for gentleness. Things happen. Take it easy. Take care. Do your best. We will do ours. We couldn't ask more from the participants or ourselves, and we're not asking more from you. So I remember that experience of the pandemic. We talk about it a lot here. It comes up in our meditation. It comes up in our discussions. And it was unbearable at times. What we thought would be a few months of isolation turned into years. Though much of the time, because we were meeting regularly and because I was teaching, the pain was shared and bearable. And I was so busy, in fact, that it led to a different experience, an experience of burnout, because I actually felt very busy and productive during the years of the pandemic. But I'm interested this morning in when this pain, this experiencing pain, becomes unbearable. And I still have experiences like this. They haven't gone away. Likely you do too, unique to you. Each of us have our own unique ways of becoming aware of pain that's unbearable. Body pain, mental pain, emotional pain, existential pain. I mean, really, they're hard to tease apart. We talk about this as dukkha in the Pali language, but they're much more easier. That's not really good English. Sorry. They're much easier to tease apart when we describe them and when we start to talk about them, and we bring some awareness to them. And in my experience, the unbearable pains that I deal with, they often come to a crescendo. Like, I just think I cannot take this one more moment. But then I do, and I survive, and I still keep going through. And I don't know how this happens. I really don't. So I want some dopamine. That's what came to me this morning when I woke up, that kind of sleepy state, where you're kind of coming to awareness, coming to waking. And I remembered the book Dopamine Nation by Anna Lemke. And I remembered there's a lot of interesting quotes in that book, which I did not fully read. So I did a little bit of research, and I found a website with 118 quotes put together by Iban Oroz. So I'm just giving him a thank you because he really did a nice job on pulling out all the quotes from that book. But this is the quote that yelled at me, was in neon, spoke to me. It just seemed like it was in bold print, even though it was not any different than the other ones on the page. And I'll read the quote. Telling the truth is painful. Honesty can be strengthened by stimulating the prefrontal cortex, which led me to wonder if practicing honesty can stimulate the prefrontal cortex. I have found that to be consistent with the lived experience of people in recovery. Truth-telling may change the brain, allowing us to be more aware of our pleasure-pain balance and the mental processes driving us, therefore changing our behavior. Honesty enhances awareness and intimacy. Intimacy is its own source of dopamine. Okay, I got my dopamine hit right there. It was like, that really speaks to me. I love this. I felt a kind of uplift, knowing, kind of the validation that some research and somebody that studied this, in depth, sees that intimacy is a source of dopamine. Because it fits my experience, and it fits my experience not just in my own meditation practice, but also in yours, in other times that you've talked about becoming more intimate with your experience by describing it, by standing close to it, by being more aware of it, and letting others in on it, and other times not, but the idea that this is something that we're doing with our unbearable pain really hits home. So in my excitement in the dopamine hit, I also know this is not a cure-all. And I don't believe in cure-alls anymore. I've never found one. But as we've said, being honest, open, genuine is not really always easy. It's more habitual to be polite, to go along in a general direction of the program, to submit to peer pressure, to go with the flow even. So sometimes being self-honest can really feel like you're swimming up a waterfall. Yesterday, at the end of our session, I found myself affirming that there are times when distraction is healthy, even needed, even necessary in our practice. And I had to question myself, what did I mean by affirming that? Was I affirming that we need to take time off from being honest and genuine? I don't think I was. I think I was affirming or pointing in the direction of distraction from our experience is at times healthy and needed. And in meditation practice, distraction has a negative valence. So I think that I was trying to counter this negative valence that distraction has. And we've been primed, I think, to call anything that's not part of meditation instruction, the instructions you receive, we're primed to call that a distraction. And I think that happens even in reflective meditation. If we're not finding ourselves kind or curious or gentle with our experience, we may think we're not doing the meditation right, or we need to get back to that. And that if we're distracted from that, we're not going to make any progress, because the instruction kind of takes this higher precedence, something that we have to kind of merge with and do all the time. And in fact, it often seems that we should be doing the practice instructions fully all the time, exactly all the time. And if we've lost that full or exact awareness or attention, we're really not going to be learning anything. We're going to be just kind of wasting our time. But these are the questions I'm going to leave me with and us with. What if awareness doesn't have to always work that way? I mean, this is not new. We've talked about this before. What if we don't always have to have full awareness? And what if awareness fluctuates much more naturally and easily than we'd expect it to? Could it regulate itself even if we let things go on in our meditation? What happens if, at times we put our awareness under a microscope? Does that help? Does that help you actually understand awareness more? Are there times when that really is the right thing to do? And what happens when it relaxes, when it drops away, when you noodle about or play or wander? I mean, are these really viable forms of meditation? And speaking to the crowd of receptive and reflective meditators who would probably say yes, but I'm still going to ask us to question that. But what if this relaxing awareness, not always having to have full attention or be in the moment, actually helps us be more honest, genuine, and true with ourselves in our experience? What if? I'll end the talk here.